There was a time, not very long ago, certainly in the span of human history, as long as the modern Homo sapien has existed, that people believed your ideas came from some sort of mystic other realm. Perhaps I don't think it's been explained more properly than with the example of the Muses in Greek mythology, where it was believed, obviously, that the ideas that you get for your work and for your art, it comes from these sort of magical deities that bestow it upon you. And if you're lucky enough to catch the muse, if you're lucky enough to get, sort of endowed with their power, you can sort of harness the gift of the gods, basically, and use this creative idea that you have, and bring it forth into the world. And I like the idea. I like it. I like the notion of surrendering a bit of control to the idea of just some external factor playing a role in your creative success. I like the idea that if your story is not the best, if it does not come out, as awesome as you want, if it gets rejected by others, if fans and critics hate it, if you're lucky to get it published, that you can say, well, it was the gift the muse gave me, and I brought it into the world. I'm sorry that you don't, that you all have not enjoyed it, but this is what the muses handed me. I like it. I like the idea of surrendering a little bit of that control to fate. And that thinking, it's started to play around in my head a lot more, especially the past few days, now that I'm looking at my next project, now that I'm looking at what I want to do next. That whatever idea, whatever pathway I choose, I am going to sort of bring it into the world because the muses have sort of bestowed upon me the capacity to do it, the ability to do it. And so I think maybe going forward here, maybe at least for the, however long I'm sort of in this sort of limbo state, I'm going to start thinking that way. I'm going to start taking less of an attitude of I need to, hyper focus on what the outcome is going to be and what's going to be better for perhaps my career long term, etc., and focus more on the idea that these are ideas that are being given to you. Whichever one you choose, you can bring forth into the world. Whichever idea you choose, you can give it some sense of life, some sense of reality. And so I'm not sure how much easier that'll make the choice. I don't know. But I think if that mind shift, I think that mentality adjustment to the idea that I'm being gifted these items, it's going to push me further. And with that, it's going to shift my perspective from worrying about the project that I choose and focusing more on making whatever project I choose as strong as it can be. Any writer, I shouldn't say this. Yeah, I'll say it. So any writer can take a good idea and ruin it, right? Any writer, especially, any kind of novice, you can take a bad idea and ruin it. It takes a very skilled writer to take a bad idea and make it great, and yet you can. You can. If you are skilled enough, you could take in a really terrible, stupid idea, and you can actually make it into something fantastic. And so perhaps I need to focus less on the project, less on that. Maybe the project itself is a minor detail. Maybe it is maybe it's just a superficial thing. Perhaps the project I choose is something that's very superficial, that the content doesn't matter, that what I write is merely fine print. It is merely the details that do not need to be sweated, that what I write is insignificant to the fact that I make whatever I write about as strong as possible. Perhaps that's what I need to do going forward.